Hey, everybody, this is
We're going live?
no, we're not live, Evelio.
It
We
says
are
live
live.
up there.
But it's not really live. It's a
All right.
recording live. That voice you hear is Evelio Mattos, formerly of the Packaging Today show, Pour One Out for Our Dead Homies. We should resurrect it, but we're not going to be doing that necessarily today.
No.
Um, we are going to be interviewing for the first time. We're going to try this out. We're going to be interviewing this incredible company. Evelio has the bottle up. I did not receive a bottle because it's alcoholic,
Yes.
and I live in Utah. But we got some killer packaging we're going to talk about with Juan and Mariana. But Evelio, what are we going to be doing different on this episode?
We are going to be hablando en español, so that'll be good. So it'll be both. So it'll be a Spanish lesson for everybody that's listening, which ties right into the brand Perro Verde, which they actually have a shirt called the Spanish lesson, and they break down the name in hieroglyphs. Hieroglyphics.
Yeah, which I need. Mein Deutsch ist nicht gut und mein Español ist nicht gut.
We're
But
gonna get into we'll get into the packaging, the product, the people, how they went from zero to where they are today. But just a quick intro for anybody that's not familiar with me. I'm
yeah,
a packaging designer,
you are.
packaging engineer,
Mhm.
packaging manufacturer, right? So front end, back end, the whole spectrum, kind of similar to you, where you've been in sales and now you're in label manufacturing. So you're front end, back end, and we're going to take a look at this from all sides. So I'm pretty excited.
All the perspectives. This morning I was in here up on a scissor lift running Ethernet cables. So I'm getting a lesson in business. And we are going to get a lesson in business while we're joined here by Juan and Mariana from, what's the name of the company, Evelio?
Perro Verde. Perro Verde.
Perro Verde. Let's bring them on the stage.
I said it in English and in Spanish.
Hi.
Juan and Mariana, welcome.
Hey guys,
So good to meet you guys.
pleasure to meet you guys as well. Awesome to be here. Excited.
It's going to be great. You're joining us live from Los Angeles, California, correct?
That's right.
That's right.
Sunny LA.
Very
Awesome.
beautiful.
Bueno, vamos a comenzar. Entonces, Juan y Mariana, ¿cómo llegamos a ese punto? Si se puede, nos puede explicar quiénes son y qué han hecho, sería increíble.
Fenomenal. Bueno, pues arranco yo un minutico y aquí nos botamos la pelota entre los dos. Mariana y yo estamos casados. Tenemos este proyecto de Perro Verde juntos hace unos 3 años que empezamos, 4 años casi ya. Pero Perro Verde, pues es un mezcal de lujo, ¿no? Estamos tratando de penetrar el mercado del mezcal, que es una categoría muy interesante, evolucionando todos los días y creciendo. Es la categoría que más crece en spirits hoy en día. Y pues quisimos hacer un ejercicio mucho de convicción personal de cómo entrar a una categoría como estas en el mercado de lujo. Yo vengo del Consumer Goods. Mi nombre es Juan Santiago Rodríguez. Yo vengo de Consumer Goods. Yo tuve una empresa de flores durante mucho tiempo en Colombia. Exportábamos flores. De ahí tengo, digamos que mucho conocimiento en Estados Unidos. Llevo más de 25 años aquí en Estados Unidos, entre Miami, Nueva York, Los Ángeles, Wichita, Kansas. Eso es la otra historia para otro momento, pero bueno.
Entiendo Nueva York, Miami, Los Ángeles, pero
Wichita, Kansas, yeah.
Yo viví en todos, pero Kansas no. Colombianos no hay ahí.
Jumping around. Y Mariana viene del mundo de fashion, pero pues dejo que haga, obviously, her introduction.
Bueno, yo soy Mariana Carvajal. Yo tengo un background en diseño y business. empecé como fashion buyer para una tienda por departamentos que se llama Falabella, que está en Chile, Colombia, Perú y estuve en Argentina, ya no. Em, y, y digamos que con ellos tuve mucho tiempo haciendo desarrollo de producto y buying era un cargo como muy interesante porque como que me permitía un poco como que pisar como los dos mundos. Y de ahí me fui a París, hice una maestría en moda. em, y me dediqué un poco más a la dirección creativa, desarrollo de producto, y como curaduría también de productos y de espacios. Y digamos que cuando Juan Santiago empezó un poco como con el sueño de Perro Verde, em, necesitamos como un poco darle como el frame a ese producto como que era tan increíble porque de verdad pues les vamos a contar un poquito como la historia de cómo llegamos a Perro Verde, pero era un poco como cómo le hacemos justicia a ese producto tan increíble y cómo contamos la historia del mezcal de una manera diferente al mundo afuera de México. Y pues digamos que ese ha sido como mi rol en la dirección creativa, en el desarrollo de la botella, del packaging y pues en general como de la voz de la marca.
Vale.
Adam, did you
Entonces,
catch all of that?
so
Yeah,
Adam,
so I can tell you exactly what
they
happened.
said good morning.
Yeah, so essentially they met in Wichita, Kansas at a Freddy's steak burger, and Juan Santiago is from the CPG world, and Mariana is from the fashion world, and they have a company called how do I pronounce it on your shirt, Juan? It's
Perro Verde.
Perro Verde, Perro Verde.
Perro Verde.
Yeah, so and it's a mezcal, and that's about all that's what I've seen, from
Good
the
summary.
Did I do all right? Except for the meeting in Wichita, I was like, "Oh, Wichita, I know that."
You got it covered. Okay, so you have there's a mezcal. You're from Colombia. We're not very famous for mezcal. Why
For
not?
those of you who don't
why
know,
not an
Evelio is
aguardiente?
also from Colombia, amongst many other places.
Yes. Why choose a mezcal and not like an aguardiente?
That's a very good question. Neither of us came from the alcohol business. I think that's for us has also been sort of a very interesting journey to come into a controlled industry where you have to work through the 3-tier system. That's a pain in the butt. That has obviously challenges, but also has some incredible opportunities. I fell in love. I lived in Mexico back in 2005. Before actually being in flowers, I was in the entertainment industry. I worked for Televisa in Mexico. I had a film production company in Miami. So I was a little bit involved with the entertainment business. And when I worked in Televisa, I actually lived in Mexico for a couple of years. And that was a long time ago. And I fell in love with mezcal then. Like, at that time, tequila was, beginning really to, well, I don't know if beginning, but it was getting very famous then. Sort of the idea of new tequilas coming out, sipping tequilas and, drinking rather than just thinking of binge drinking tequila in college and, not remembering the next day or what you did. Tequila was kind of
were you buy the gallon or the biggest one for the least amount of price? Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Hey guys, I'm going to let you keep going. I need to drop off camera real quickly, but keep the interview going. I'll be right back.
Sure.
It'll be like the intro. I won't know what's happening.
We won't even miss you.
Yeah.
So I got to taste mezcal then, and I fell in love with the story of a liquid that's been done since 500 before the Spanish conquest.
Mhm.
It was incredible. I About 5 years ago, I took a trip to Oaxaca and I met my current partner. He's a 70-year-old gentleman. His name is Don Porfirio Chagoya. His family story is incredible, and please, jump in in anything that you feel that I missed or anything like that. But his story was phenomenal, and not only the family story was kind of a rare family story. They've been doing this for 120 years, but also mezcal has sort of this mystic or mysticism behind it that to me was phenomenal. And I did a lot of research on the category. We were seeing obviously number wise the opportunity on the growth, but also there wasn't any brand that was really trying to capture sort of the ultra premium side and do something that's smooth, that's gentle, that's much more approachable than the typical mezcal that you find in the market, which is very strong, high ABVs and super smoky, geared towards more of the cocktail world than the sipping world.
Hmm. I think that it was also like a very synchronic moment when Santiago was exiting he had sold the company and he was about to exit. And in this trip they met the Chagoya family, and they tasted versions of mezcal that were very unique and very different from what like mainstream mezcal tasted like. And it kind of like stayed in Juan Santiago's mind, and he was like, this is something like, there's something here, there's something very special. And we were kind of like speaking about it, thinking like how the mezcals that were currently sold in the US were another universe from what we were having there. And and that kind of like the good mezcal was not like really getting here. And that's how it kind of like started, like we kind of like found, and then we also like saw what was there in terms of like package, because you taste these mezcals like in these palenques, and it's like it's a very rustic experience. So you're also like kind of like confused in like you have like a very special thing, but like in a see.
See, raw place in a very rustic place.
See, so there's like a kind of like a
It's a clash, yeah,
disconnect
disconnect between the ideas.
yeah.
Evelio, you're muted. I don't know why. Come back.
Evelio is muted.
Yeah, unmute. No, wait. Hang on. There, now you're back. We
All right.
simultaneously. I tried to unmute you, and then you did, and then it was yeah. But
Okay, but when you say when you're saying rustic, like people picture one thing, but you're tasting a luxurious liquid that's gone through all this processing, and then explain rustic. Like what are you talking about? Like, how rustic is this?
So the wild plant, like when you produce mezcal, you end up in the middle of a mountain or a little bit of a desert area, depending on what part maybe of Oaxaca or the country. In Mexico, you can produce mezcal in 9 different regions, but depending on where you are, you end up in these little ranches where you have a wooden hut with a laminate roof, where you have a hole that's dug in the ground as a pit oven. So that's where you are actually putting in the lava rocks and the wood to roast the agaves. It's all dirt. You have one, maybe two alambiques, the stills, and your fermenting vat is a very old wooden cask. So it's very rustic in that sense. But yet the distilling process is pristine, right? So it's you ferment with the natural elements, with the yeast and bacteria of the natural ambient or environment, and then you are heating this product. You are boiling this liquid and evaporating the liquid and then condensing it, and that's when the distillation process happens. And you pick it up on uh, old canteen type of jug or jar, and that's how you're collecting this liquid.
Yeah.
That's sort of the very old rustic traditional way. The beautiful thing, if I may finish for a second, but the beautiful thing that we realized is our partner here, he has let's say 4 years ago, he started building this beautiful, or 5 years ago, he started building this beautiful distillery in Oaxaca. It's a lot newer, let's say, I wouldn't say state of the art, but it's a lot cleaner. You have a beautiful pit that has actually innovations, and that's why our liquid has sort of this very gentle and smooth taste, and it's very sippable because in our process, there's innovations that have allowed us to get there. So we're taking being very mindful of the tradition of how to make mezcal, but also trying to make sure that the quality of the liquid and the production process, the cleanliness of the process itself, it's kept up to a standard where we can put a super high end liquid in the market.
Yeah, I feel that what struck us was kind of like they took this very artisanal, very peasant uh, process, and they built also like in the middle of like nature, like this. It's very, and I think what you say, state of the art, is appropriate in its own like Oaxacan way.
Yeah.
But it's like the best version of what an oven could be, the best version of what like a taona, which is where you crush the agave hearts, is like the best version of what like the distilling could be. And like, so everything was like done the right way, the appropriate way. And that, like, it, you could feel it in the liquid, you could taste it. And that was like what was very special, still in a very uh, rustic, very natural. It's not like, it's not a factory at all.
Yeah.
It's more like it takes you more to the world of wine than it would like any other spirit.
Can we? I would love to jump into the packaging. I know, Evelio, you have an example there. I will get one eventually. I'm very excited to see
I
it.
think UPS or FedEx doesn't deliver if you're not Colombian.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it
That'll
was.
work.
It was. Yeah. But I do drink a lot of Colombian coffee. I tried to, throw that out there, but they didn't buy it. So, but the packaging, from what I can tell, just from the website, and Evelio, I'd love for you to kind of jump in a little bit and talk about it. It looks similar to how you describe the process, right? It looks very pristine, but there are some kind of more rustic elements to it. Evelio, I would love to get your reaction first. Like, what was your initial reaction when you opened it and saw the packaging? This could be really helpful for Juan and Mariana.
Yeah. So, one, the box arrives. This is perfect for displaying because it holds the bottle straight up. You've got the debossed Perro Verde. You've got the information across the front, and then
Perro Verde.
Exactly, and then you can lay it down to open it. You've got your Simply Rare on the front as an introduction. Then you've got a magnetic closure, which then opens. If you're opening it this way, you have the story here, but the story is running the other way, which is the way that you would have it if it's displayed on shelf. So I don't know that you would never necessarily lay it down, but you have the dog, the information. There's some brackets here in case you're going to place something. I'm assuming that's what those are for. And then you have rigid board insert, so there's no foam. This entire thing can be recycled, which is great. And then on the back, you've got the additional information and then a space for a sticker. And then you've got
label. It's called the label, Evelio.
Like, I'm not sure if this, it looks like this is an offset print. And you have an all over texture, which is nice. So now and then you've got the bottle, but just focusing on here, the typeface for Perro Verde it's really sharp. There's a lot of angles and it speaks to the agave, right? You see the plant, you see these just sharp spires coming off, and it's the same. And which is, it just tells a story in there. But then you also have like the rustic feel of the texture. The contrast in these two colors is beautiful. You've got the green of the plant, but then you've also have like this yellowish color, which to me reminds me of almost like the root or the heart, which is a different color. So beautiful work on this packaging. And then when you get to the bottle, you have you have 3 different products. You have 3 different lines. So this is just this particular line. The bottle is green. It almost looks.
Is the bottle green or is the liquid?
The glass has a little bit of a green tint.
Okay, and then they've got a couple other ones too.
Yep. There's the white, and then there's the yellow. You've got a wood stopper. Again, going back to like that rustic feel. You don't have to have like a big agave, big crazy glass. You see a lot of brands out there that are getting these huge agave plants that are made out of metal or glass to showcase it. You don't have to go crazy, right? Like this is the way that your grandfather's bottle would look like when you open it. And then of course you've got like the silk screen on here. You've got the sticker on the bottom that says, it's got the information on it. You can feel it. Again, you've got some more tactile features. You got like it looks like a handwritten numbering system of this particular bottle. And then you have the raised.
Yeah, that's hard to see, but yeah.
Yeah, you have like the raised dog on here, and we can, we can
talk
talk
that's awesome. Is that etched into the glass?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a clear print.
Yeah, it's a 3D print.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but directly on.
Good eyes, Evelio.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I love that. Yeah. If you're just listening to this podcast, go watch it on YouTube. I'm sure it'll be on my channel or also on I'll talk Evelio into putting it onto the Packaging Unbox channel as well.
You can go to the perroverdemezcal.com to see the bottles and everything there. You can buy the bottles as well. Well, the bottles with.
How did he do, Juan and Mariana? Did he nail it?
He nailed it.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I was gonna say that I'm impressed. I am not only impressed, but I am excited to hear that you analyzing without us knowing each other or having said it or talked to anybody, and hearing what you are feeling, because a lot of this is how do we, we got to talk to a little bit about the process of the mezcal itself, but what Mariana has done incredibly well through all of this was how do you connect those two worlds? How do you connect the liquid into a way of generating these emotions and generating these connections, which is incredible. And it's something that to me, it's far out there in the world. I can't really understand how to land, that abstract world into this, material side. And she's done incredibly well. And I think that, to me, hearing you talk about it, Evelio, it's absolutely delicious.
No, and yeah, in the line of what Juan Santiago is saying, it's like it's very satisfying and gratifying to see that what you wanted to communicate does come out on the other side.
Yeah.
Excellent. No, and there's a lot of work here. Where this is not, okay, we have the liquid, now let's just put something together. So
And I think
when you go from the liquid, where do you start? So Mariana, where do you start to design? You start thinking of materials, you start thinking of colors. What was the first thing, and maybe what was the first concept that you shared?
Okay, so I feel that the first thing was naming. Uh, that was, I feel that the starting point. That was a long process, and it took us a lot of time. Um, because we had like a long brand exercise in which we kind of wanted to know exactly what to highlight. And there were many elements around the mezcal. There was the heritage, the land, the taste, the rarity, and like so. And there were already like a lot of like brands out there, kind of like speaking of already like all of these discourses. And we were like, how do we express what's really unique and different about Perro Verde? And we
Mhm.
went through a bunch of names, none of which kind of like resonated. um, and we ended up like, in the end we said like the most important like storytelling pillar is the rarity. How this is like something so special, so unique, um, that is handcrafted, and that like we should appreciate more the rare things in life. And that became like the storytelling pillar. And then in a conversation with Oliver Sigenthaler, who is actually the one that designed and developed our font, um, we were speaking, and we were like, we need something very rare, like a Perro Verde.
but
And
explain what
then,
Perro Verde means.
so Perro Verde, yeah.
Me.
But
I think we should have started there.
Perro Verde is a Spanish expression to kind of to describe someone that is very unique, very singular, and rare, like a one of a kind.
That's me.
Exactly.
I
Like
am
Adam.
Perro Verde.
You are a perro verde. And we say that in Spanish, eres más raro que un perro verde. You are rarer than a green dog.
Sí. And originally it comes from like a natural
I wore my
phenomenon that does exist, in which I don't know if it's a one in a million, one in a very large quantity. Dogs are born with a little greenish fur, because they come in contact with biliverdin, which is an enzyme in the mom's womb.
Hmm.
And it's a very rare phenomenon. It happens and then it fades away after a couple of months. So
One in every 10,000 births,
There you go.
a green puppy is born. I
They're
didn't
born
know.
green.
I've
That's-
learned so much. I've
The-
learned some Spanish. I've learned about green dogs. That's really cool. We're actually getting towards the end here, and so I would love to kind of wrap it up and let Evelio maybe share just a little bit more about the packaging, and then let you guys end it the way we began, in whichever language you would like, Evelio. The floor is yours.
No, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I know we're wrapping this one up, but I would love to have you know, both of you on the Packaging and Box podcast. We can get into the real details of like production and everything else. Would be amazing.
Yeah.
So with the naming, with the typeface, with the box, going from the liquid to the packaging and design, how did you find it? How did you find a manufacturer? How did
Yeah.
you find the right partner to make these things? Because that's the hardest part, I think, sometimes.
It was
It still is.
it still is, it's still it's a challenge.
I think it's hard to, everything it takes time and effort, and it's always a challenge.
But for us it was very important that we made a packaging that felt luxurious in the hand, that kind of like paid tribute to the liquid inside. But in the end, this is something that is temporal. So I we did not want it to have materials that were like either too intensive and like bad for the planet. We didn't want anything that kind of like seemed too permanent, and so finding that balance between uh, what expresses and what communicates the message, but what is good for the planet is challenging. And then something that was very important in that train of thought was we want to do everything in Mexico to make everything short circuit. So that became a greater challenge. But we found great people with whom we've been working. It took us a lot of rounds to get to the right shape on the stopper, to get to the right bottle, the box as well. We have a great partner in Mexico as well, um, that has been like of great help. And I feel that in that sense, like you need very good partners that kind of like understand your ideas and are able to bring them to life, because we were speaking about this just recently. And like sometimes when you're designing, you're like, oh, this would look amazing, or this could be super cool, that when you open the packaging, or you could open the packaging this way or another, and then you come to production and then they're like, no, that's not
It's not
viable, like it's
possible.
impossible to produce, or we only have these materials, or that material is going to take 8 months to produce, or the bottles are, yeah, sure, we'll make your bottle, is going to be ready in 2 years. And you're like, what?
All of it is true.
It-
It
it's a
is.
it's a
Evelio,
challenge of combining that, and sometimes sacrificing certain things for efficiency, and sometimes sticking to what we want to do, right, and holding off on being able to say no. We want the stopper has to be this way. It has to be raw wood. We don't want it lacquered and beautifully done, exactly colored. No, we want them
Yeah,
to be natural and feel natural.
we returned the whole production of stoppers.
The-
It's been like, yeah, it's been challenging, like to even consistency, like to have the same green for the every production of bottles that comes out. um,
yeah.
and it's also, there's a lot of compromise as well between what's on your mind and what's ideal, and then what can be
what can be
done, and
done?
then what's done, which is a combination of both.
I totally agree. We lost Juan Santiago. Where did
Yeah,
he?
No, he
I
came
ran
back.
away because I wanted to show you that now we have the little baby one as well. So
Oh,
Oh,
look at
wow.
exactly the same. And again,
un poquito.
It looks like you're holding it like this,
yeah, no,
but
no,
it's same size.
There.
So
Yeah.
this is a
Wow.
375. This is the 700, and
Wow.
yeah, like this has been like a whole new journey in terms of product development. But yeah, like, and to be appreciative of the craft, I think I feel that to get a product into the market and to make an idea a reality, takes a village and takes a lot of time. And like it's like I feel that it should get more credit, packaging and
Yeah.
yeah.
We agree. And I'm excited for part 2 of this interview.
Yeah.
To continue. When you get on the Packaging Unboxed podcast, maybe I'll brush up on my Duolingo, and Evelio will invite me on. But I'm super appreciative. How do people go and buy Perro Verde?
We love that. Well, obviously the first way right now nationwide is online. So please, go online to www.perroverdemezcal.com. You can buy anywhere in the States. I think there's a couple of states that we can't ship to, obviously,
We found
unfortunately. But that's the easiest way. We are in stores in California. So we've concentrated in developing the Californian market for now. So we are here in San Diego, San Francisco, Sacramento, Los Angeles. And if you go also to our webpage, you can find on the, on one of our tabs, the Find Us Now, and you find some of the stores that we are in. You can also buy through Reserve Bar and some of the other online retailers. Total Wine just picked us up, so we're going to start being in Total Wine in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, I think that's the best way.
My favorite 2 parts of this interview was the beginning, trying to learn Spanish on the fly, and the end where Evelio's video has apparently gotten.
I locked up. I don't know what happened here.
Yeah, but you look great. It just
I'm over here smelling this.
It looks like you're looking at the box, so that's great.
Staring, you're just locked in on the packaging. Well, Juan and Mariana and Evelio, thank you all so much for joining. It didn't even help.
It didn't help.
The turn it off, turn it on IT fix didn't help. But that's okay. We got all the important stuff. We don't need to see your face anymore. But thank you all. Everyone go check out. What was the website one more time, Juan?
perroverdemezcal.com.
All right. Everyone
wait, before we go, because I'm smelling the lid. I'm just like smelling the liquid.
You're so ridiculous.
No, because I love this as a smell. Like I would wear this as a fragrance. Like I can smell the burnt, the char, which is amazing. Like you can smell like the burnt wood. Like I get a lot of, and then just overall, like this is a fragrance. Yeah,
you have a fan. You have a fan in Evelio Mattos.
Huge fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Muchas gracias, Adam. Muchas gracias, Evelio. Es un gusto. It's a pleasure to have been here with you guys and be able to chat a little bit about what we've done. And thank you for opening up this space for us. And it's a pleasure to meet you guys. Muchas gracias a los dos.
Sí, thank you for having us, and we're looking forward to more conversations.
Absolutely. I can't wait. Thank you guys.